So I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Mary Ellen Schroeder, and I am the director of the Career Development Office. Rebecca?
Hi, everyone. My name is Rebecca Wright. I'm the internship manager and I manage the internship program. Meg?
I'm Meg Gatterman. I'm the student outreach manager and 2010 illustration alumni.
Great. All right. So next slide. So what we're going to cover today is the logistics about how the fair is actually going to work. You know that registration opened on this past Monday on the 12th, and that you're registering for the fair, but you're also signing up for group sessions and or one-to-one sessions. So we're going to talk about what that looks like. Rebecca's going to give you a little demonstration about that. We're also going to give you kind of a preview of what it's like to actually attend the fair on the day of the fair, and things that you'll want to keep in mind for participating in a group session as well as a one-to-one session. After the fair, we have some additional kind of practical tips to offer to you. And are most of you current students? Okay, I see some heads nodding yes. So the $2,000 internship award is back again. So we're going to give you more information about how that works. So next slide. So one of the things that we just want to put out front is that I think some students are under the impression that you're going to the fair and you'll walk out with an internship, or that you're going to the fair and you're going to be interviewing for an internship. And that is not the point of the fair. The fair is really about gaining more information about the company, about the opportunities that they're offering. If any of you are graduating seniors, there are employers that are offering entry-level jobs, and of course, employers offering internships as well. They are anticipating, many of them, posting an internship in the next couple of weeks. So we want you to be in a position where you're finding out more about what these opportunities are and getting information about what you need to know in order to apply. So it's going to help you learn if you want to apply for the internship or job. You can ask questions and get inside information about how to put together a good application. And you're also going to have an opportunity to make a connection with a representative. And that can happen in a group session or in a one-to-one session. And we're going to give you some tips about how you can do that. Next slide. So all of the employers that are coming are offering art and design related internships or jobs. And one of the ways that you can find opportunities, and this is very common among the students, is that they'll either do Command F or Control F on their computer or their laptop, and you can search by your major and see which employers are interested. You can also do it with keywords. If you have skills in other art mediums, you can absolutely search for those skills and see what opportunities might pop up. We're encouraging students to be as broad as possible when they're considering jobs and internships, to kind of keep your options open and learn more about them. You want to kind of ask yourself, what's drawing me into this? Why am I attracted to it? Is umbrella arts of interest to you because you're interested in teaching? Then that's a good thing to know about yourself. And your goal is, of the 20, how many do we have, Rebecca, now? Is it like 24, 27?
25, it might be up to 26.
It was right in the middle.
Yeah.
So we have 25 employers who have registered for the fair. Some of them are still working on their group session schedules and their one-to-one session appointments. So you're going to want to kind of keep tabs on when they post those. But you want to take that list of 25 and narrow it down to the top 2 or 3. You are not attending the fair from 12 to 3 p.m. You're going to be just attending the sessions that you sign up for. Next slide. Okay, so this is the list of the employers, and this will, we're assuming, is going to change up to the fair with other employers that might be interested in joining us, with obviously the schedules that they may post. So this will give you an idea of who's already said yes and is interested in meeting the talent. Next slide. Okay, so I'm going to pass it over to Rebecca. She's going to tell you more about how the fair is actually going to function.
Okay, next slide. Okay. So we recommend you make a note of our website because we are kind of putting the most up-to-date information there. It's massart.edu career development, and we'll do a live demonstration in a minute. But on our homepage, we have a link to a Google Doc with the list of all the employers, plus kind of information about what they're recruiting for, and then the employers organized by majors and also by the skills that they are hiring for. Next slide. So again, you can find that there. I'll do a demo in a second. Next slide. So generally how it will work is there's kind of two steps. The first thing is you're going to register for the fair that opened up on this Monday, February 12th. And that's when you can register for the fair. And then after you register, you're going to sign up for the sessions you actually want to attend. And that's going to be the times you actually are expected to show up. You don't have to stay for the full 3 hours. And then after you sign up for those sessions, the next thing is on February 28th. You're going to, from between 12 to 3 p.m., you're going to attend those sessions. Next slide. So again, you're going to sign up for sessions and build a schedule. You only need to attend what you sign up for. And usually you sign up for 2 to 3 sessions. You can sign up for more, but just, sign up for like a couple to start with, and you can customize your schedule a little bit. All sessions are on a first come, first serve basis. So that means that the sooner you sign up, the more likely you're to get a spot. Group sessions are usually more open. So they accept usually up to 50 students, sometimes more, but one-on-one, it's one student, one representative. So just something to be aware of. The other thing to note is that not all employers have built out their schedule and added sessions yet. So you want to check back because there may be new sessions added closer to the fair. Or sometimes if an employer gets booked up, they might bring another person from the company and kind of add more sessions. So there is a little bit of, element of change in this. So you want to keep checking back. Next slide. So next I'm going to show you how to sign up. So Meg, I'm going to take over screen sharing and do a little bit of a demo. Okay, so like I said, is if you go to massart.edu career development, you can click here for the list of employers that I told you about. And this is a Google Doc, and we're updating it weekly, if not more, a couple times a week as we get new information. So the first page is just information that we're covering today of how the event will work. But if you scroll down, you'll start seeing the list of employers, and we collected more information from employers about what they're hiring for. So you'll see what roles they're recruiting for, jobs, internships, other options. They'll list the majors or the skills that they're looking for, and then sometimes they'll explain when they typically hire or make decisions and what internships semesters they offer. So you can kind of go through this. Like Marielle said, you can do Control Command F to find a company because it is a little bit long. We also, one other thing I do want to note is we have noted if there are MassArt alumni at the company or if the recruiter is an alum. So you'll see that in red. If you open this menu, you can kind of jump down and go to employers by major. So here you can kind of cross-reference, like say you're in animation, you want to know what employers are open to meeting with animation students. You can kind of see a list there, and that might give you a guide. We also organize them by skill set because sometimes you might want to see, what employers are looking for someone who knows Adobe Illustrator. Maybe that's a program else. You can kind of do that. Or you can look for employers who listed diversity, equity, inclusion as a skill they're looking for. So you can kind of use that to kind of find out about companies. Later on, we will start putting group sessions, so you can kind of plan your schedule if you're going to group sessions, but that we have yet to add. So that's a little bit of what's on this document. To get to the Handshake event itself, it's linked to at the top of the event. You can also go to Handshake directly, and if you go to events and then career fairs at your school, and you'll see the event there. So there's two ways to kind of get to the event. So to sign up, now say you went through the list, you have an idea of what companies want to meet with, you're going to go to register. And then the next, it's going to prompt you to sign up for specific sessions. So it'll say view employer sessions. And you'll see here, there's some tabs. There's your schedule, available sessions, and then details. So if you're in the available sessions tab, you're going to see what companies have sessions that you can sign up for. And one thing to note is sometimes if employers say, you know, I'm looking for communication design majors only, there may be a limit to whether it shows up if you're not in communication design, but generally it should be pretty open. But say you want to go to Opus Design, 12 p.m. and it says group session, you can click on that and you'll see a little more information about what they're looking for. They're looking for junior seniors, and you'll see the person who's speaking there. So you can do confirm. And it'll prompt you to upload a resume. We'll get into a little more of that later. So now you'll see sessions showing up in the right-hand menu. Okay, so now let's say you want to do another session. And this time we'll look for a one-on-one. Say you're curious about the Dallas Museum of Art. And here they have individual session and it says 8 open sessions. So you can click on that and it'll give you options of times. And you'll see these red dots. That means you have already signed up for a session at that same time. So you want to go for the session after that. And then you do confirm. And then again, you'll see your sessions here. So that's kind of how you build your schedule. You can organize it. If you come to the fair the day of, you're going to go to this event. You're going to go to your schedule. It's going to show your list of sessions. It'll show you where there's a break. What will happen is you'll see this here. It says join external video. 5 minutes before 12 p.m. this link will go live and it'll allow you to join their video link. Same with this one. 5 minutes before the 12:40 p.m. it'll actually give you a join video link. So that's kind of how you would attend the fair. So you just kind of have to go to the schedule session. So let's say that you want to cancel, like say you change your mind or something comes up and you need to cancel a session. So you can go to that session, select it, and do cancel reservation. And doing that just kind of is, there are other students who might be looking to meet with that employer. So I do recommend if you don't intend to go to, especially a one-on-one session, it's just good practice to cancel it so you free up that spot for other students. And like you saw, we'll prompt you to send a message to the rep that just kind of, you know, lets them know why you kind of cancel the session, just as a polite courtesy. So that's kind of how you would cancel the session. The other thing I want to note, if you go to the career fair details page, you're going to see kind of more information about the employers and more kind of information about the event. So that will just give you a tip, you know, some other ideas if you have questions about how the event works. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And you can go back to the slides.
So next slide. So just throw it in the chat. Tell me if you attended the fair in previous years or if you attended the Student Employment Showcase. That's where we had students meet the hiring managers on campus for work study jobs and non-work study jobs. So did anybody have that experience of attending this virtual fair in the past, whether it was the Student Employment Showcase or the Creative Internship and Job Fair in previous years? So just throw it in the chat. I'll wait. Okay. So Angela said she thinks she went to the showcase, the Student Employment Showcase. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. And that Rebecca had said didn't go to either. That's fine. Okay, Drake went to the fair last year. So you're familiar with this format. So this is a good reminder. Anybody else? So I'm kind of assuming if you haven't went to the fair last year, new here, a transfer, great. Well, welcome, Sama. So the both of those virtual fairs, they operate in similar ways with the group information sessions. So generally, as I had mentioned before, this is about participating and finding out more. And the group session, for those of you who have been to the Student Employment Showcase or the Creative Internship and Job Fair, they're typically like 30 minutes. They're very casual. There could be up to 50 students in the presentation, so you're not alone. And the employer is going to take the lead. They're going to share information about their company, about their opportunity, and you can attend these sessions for all or part of the session. We encourage you to stay for the full session. One-to-one sessions are 10 minutes. So this is nice for you because you don't have to wait online for a physical fair that we used to host in the DMC. It's your dedicated time with the representative. You do want to be prepared to share information about yourself. And I'm going to give you some examples about how you can actually start a conversation. The 10 minutes goes by really fast. So it's something to kind of keep in mind. The whole purpose of either the group session or the one-to-one session is that you're getting yourself ready to apply for the internship listings that may be coming up. And you're going to watch for those. And please assume that you need a resume to apply. You're going to be meeting, obviously, the recruiter face-to-face in a one-to-one. And whether you're in a group session or a one-to-one session, ask questions. And it's always helpful to go on the website and find out a little more about the company if you're curious. And it's a great way to kind of formulate some questions. And the employers are really super nice. They are coming to see the talent. They're interested in giving you guidance. So please, don't be nervous about it. It's really a fun event. And please, as Rebecca had said, if you decide not to attend your session, release your space so another student can take it. Next slide. Okay, so this is the day of the fair. And I believe I am going to tell you more in the next slide. The fair is 12 to 3. You're going to sign up using your Handshake account. As Rebecca had said, I had mentioned you're only attending the sessions that you signed up for. And your video link is going to be scheduled for just 5 minutes before the session starts. We also want you to know that we're offering a Zoom room. It's a place where you can go if you're running into any sort of problems. We offered it during the Student Employment Showcase and previous Creative Internship and Job Fairs. So if you've attended those events, you're probably familiar with that setup, but we'll send you the link for that. Next slide. Okay. And the resume, you do not need a resume to participate in the fair. You also do not need samples of work or a portfolio. Your goal is just to explore, get information, and then if you decide that you're interested, then you're formally applying after the event. Next slide. And I am going to hand this over to Meg to talk to you about your Handshake profile.
Okay. So your Handshake profile is really important to log in and register and attend the fair. So they do have a requirement that you have to have your profile set to community or employers, and I will bring you in there in just a second. So let me see. So this is my profile. I'm going to go back to Handshake here. If you logged into your Handshake account. And then you're going to go to your profile. And then you're going to go to settings. So here's all the background information about me. And then we're going to go down to the privacy setting. So you can see that there's 3 different privacy settings here. And usually we recommend private because you want to get your profile completed. But for the fair, we need to have you be their community, which is visible to employers, students, and alumni across Handshake, or employers, which is, your profile will be visible to only employers. And so if an employer wants to contact you, they can reach out to you and connect with you if they need to. So that's the way that they can contact you. I'm going to go back to the profile here.
Meg,
Yes.
can I just offer another tip? The community, if you go back to settings, just so visually. Okay, and if we go down to settings, the one where it says recommended, we need you to know that that is kind of the default setting for your Handshake profile. So it probably already is on the community setting. And as Meg said, this is what's either community or employers, what's needed to actually register for the fair and also the sessions. But Meg's going to kind of bring you to her profile and show you a really easy way to kind of populate your profile.
Yeah. So the next thing would be to, if you have a resume already and you just want to, you want to update that to your Handshake profile, there's another area on your profile to upload your resume. So this is, my profile here. If I were a student, then I would go down to the document section and then manage documents. And you can see here that I've already uploaded a resume. And I'm going to click into the resume. And then you can see that it gives you a preview of the resume that you uploaded. And then there's a button here that says build profile from resume. So you just click that, and then it will give you, put all of your information in bullet points on your profile. I'm going to go back. And when it finishes uploading those bullet points, you can go in and just kind of edit the bullet points that you need to. So you can see that this is a retail store sales associate job at Blick, and you can kind of adjust if need be and save. And you can just pop into any of these areas and save and edit. And then if you need to add courses, especially if you have any skills you want to add there, the courses area is also an easy area to add to. And you don't really need to have a course code, just put in the course name, and that will help you kind of organize your thoughts to put your skills down. If you took a specific class like digital illustration, you know that for a fact you took maybe Adobe, you use like maybe Adobe Illustrator or Adobe Photoshop, or definitely Creative Cloud. So you can just add those to your area. And then the last thing you need is your journey area. And that one have like a arrangement of information to explain your major, your year, where you want to go while at Mass Art, and kind of like your anticipated direction of where you want to go with your job, your path. So that's also an area that you can expand on, beyond your time at SR. So it's a live document, so you're always updating these areas. Here are the areas that you want to kind of make sure that you know that you're going to be ready for when you enter your group session, is to minimize distractions. So if you are living with someone in your dorm, just make sure that they're not popping in or out of the dorm room while you're in the session. Turn on your camera like you are today. You should listen and take notes, and ask any questions in chat or unmute yourself. So example question is, if you're comfortable sharing contact information, and then asking how to apply if you're interested. Just kind of simple questions that you can ask an employer. So your one-on-one sessions is, just you and the employer. Again, minimize distractions, turn on your camera, be prepared to introduce yourself because this is a one-on-one. Research the company in advance so you know what the company is about and their mission, and if it really vibes with you. And also ask questions. The same. Ask how to apply if interested, what you need to apply. Very simple questions. So I'm going to hand this over to Mary Ellen on what to say in your one-on-one.
Thanks, Meg. So next slide. So the one-to-one sessions, I think what would be helpful for you is to kind of remember the goals of the person who's there, the recruiter, and your goals as well. So from the recruiter's perspective, they're having multiple one-to-one sessions and they're like, who am I meeting? Who is this person? And do they understand what we do? What will this person tell me about themselves? And do they have a background that might be useful to us? So it's not an interview, it's just an introduction to yourself. So your goal is really to kind of have some talking points and then tell the employer why you're interested in them. And I'm going to give you some examples about how you can actually do that. What would you like them to know about you? And asking any additional questions that you might have about that. So you're going to share things like your perhaps what previous internship that you may have had, skills that you're gaining in your major, your year of graduation. Did you attend the information session, the 30-minute group session? And if you did, mention it and then say, and this is what I learned, and it was so interesting. Again, formulating your questions and getting the conversation going. Next slide. So here are just some real general tips for how to start a conversation. Is be friendly, remember to smile, even though you might be a little nervous, and you're introducing yourself, you're sharing something useful and helpful about yourself, and you're asking open-ended questions. So an open-ended question is something that the person can respond with something other than yes or no. Next slide. So here's an example, and this is for a student who is a junior in film video. Ashley is sharing this information about herself. She's saying, I'm really interested in this. It's my passion. And she is speaking in a session with, let's imagine, Ivana D. George Studios, who's looking for somebody who's going to help them with the business side of being an artist. And what Ashley is sharing in her one-to-one is, I want to learn how to do this as well. And that's the reason why I'm interested in your internship. Can you tell me more about that? And then have that conversation. Next slide. And this is an example of a student or a new graduate. We have students, our former students returning, who are interested in internships that are open to them, as well as entry-level jobs. And Adam is saying, I'm a recent graduate from illustration, offering a little bit of information about himself, having worked with kids before, really enjoys collaboration. and that community engagement is very important to him. And he's saying, he's making a connection with this recruiter from Umbrella Arts and saying collaboration and instruction. That's what really kind of drew me into your organization. And I'd love to hear more about your teaching opportunities. So these are just two examples of how you can start the conversation and get it going. Next slide. So this is just a summary. Just remember it's 10 minutes, so you'll want to be clear about what your talking points are and establish context for the person who's meeting you. So mention your name, your major, and your year of graduation. It's always a good place to start. And we gave you those kind of the dashed points there. Make a connection to the company and ask questions to get the information that you need. Next slide. So Meg, I'm going to pass it back to Meg, and she's going to talk about what happens after the fair.
Okay, so after the fair, it's time to get yourself organized. And now that you're pumped to apply and have those connections, you can start preparing your resume. So for when you apply, create your content first, your resume, and when in doubt, write it down. So, if you have, all these jobs or experiences, just write all this stuff down. Get a critique to describe your narrative, and use basic text resume for your template. Like I mentioned, you can just kind of get that resume up and then, populate into Handshake. I can also kind of go into our website and show you where those templates live. We actually have a student template that you can start with. And then the last step is to design it and format it the way you want. So if anybody, I think we're going to show you, yeah. So this is where it is on our website. So that's massart.edu/career development. That's our resources and appointments area, where we have all of our really awesome resources. So it lives under the top 10 key resources. And you can see that there's a link for the basic text student resume template. So I think at the end, if you want to have me go over where that lives or what that looks like, I can do that. And then you can get ready to apply. So when you do have your resume or draft ready, you can come see us either at our Resumes to Go walk-in event in student development, or you can make an appointment with us, virtually, or through our appointment area on Handshake. So I'll go through that. Let me go to the page here. Do Handshake here.
So while Meg is bringing up the appointment procedures, just to kind of sync your requested time to our calendar, your resume really kind of serves two purposes. And it's one of the reasons why we're saying kind of put it at the top of your to-do list, because the resume you're going to need to apply for an internship or an entry-level job. And once you get that done, then you can upload it into your profile. It's things are going to start in the next few weeks. You're going to see opportunities and you want to be prepared for them. So it's important to kind of remember that. And next week we do have Resumes to Go. If you have a resume already and you'd like us to take a look at it, we have Resumes to Go happening next week, Tuesday through Thursday here in student development. Go ahead, Meg.
So after you've gone to your appointments area, you can schedule a new appointment. And as Mary Ellen said, it kind of syncs with our calendars. So you'd be going to student appointments and then internship resume or cover letter, or Handshake profile if you want to get a Handshake profile critique. So that's the area that you can go to for that. So I'm going to go into mine just for example. And so you can see that I'm available on these days. They're all highlighted, and just click on a day and then you can request it. And most of these appointments are default to virtual. So, and then you can add whatever other things you want to cover on your Handshake profile. For example, like you want to expand on your experience. So yeah, that's that. And then I'm going to, I guess, give this over to Rebecca.
So to recap, your next steps is to start reviewing the employer list and thinking about what employers you want to meet with. And then you're going to select 2 to 3 or more employers that you want to meet. And then register for the fair and start selecting the sessions you want to join. You can also at the same time look on Handshake for opportunities they've posted on Handshake, and start planning your steps to apply after the fair, meaning update your resume, and thinking about the next steps. So that's just a quick summary of kind of what to do now. So these are the dates to remember. The registration for the fair is already open, so you can sign up for group and one-on-one sessions at any time now. Employers will be adding more sessions, so you'll want to kind of keep an eye on it, especially if there's one employer you're waiting on. And then next week, we're doing resumes to go on the 20th, 21st, 22nd, from 12 to 4 p.m. each day in student development. Student development is the second floor of Kennedy above Starbucks. And you can just drop in, no appointment is needed for those times. Just bring a draft of your resume, and we will meet with you. And then on Wednesday, February 28th is the fair itself. And so plan to attend the sessions you signed up for on that date. Next slide. I'm going to pass it to Mary Ellen.
Thanks, Rebecca. So we are delighted to tell you that the $2,000 Internship Award is back this year. Excuse me, we have been offering this award for the past like 10 years, and typically between 40 and 50 need-based awards are given to students each year. So all you need to do once you are, you find an internship, you've been made an offer, you accept it, the most important thing to do is register your internship on your Handshake account. So you're going to be offering detailed information about what this internship is. You could either find it through Handshake or, you know, through your own means to find an internship, but it must meet the guidelines for an academic internship. And Rebecca Wright is our internship manager. She can answer any questions that you might have about that, whether you can receive 3 elective credits for it. So the other important thing is please complete a current FAFSA form. Once the internships, all the students register their internship by May 17th, we create a list and it's sent up to financial aid. And they're the ones who determine, based on the need of each of the students on the list, who's going to be getting the $2,000 award. Internships that have been approved for academic credit and successfully completed in the fall of 23 and the spring of 24 are also part of this list that goes to financial aid, and of course the upcoming summer, this summer in 2024. Both unpaid and paid internships qualify for the award. There is no separate application. You are automatically in consideration, but there's no guarantee that any one person will get the award, but you are in consideration to be considered. This is only open to undergraduate students who have not received a bachelor's degree in the past. And if you want more specific information, you can go to the link of massart.edu/internship awards. So just kind of keep that May 17th deadline in mind for finding your internship, being made an offer. You're going to register it and get approval for it. And then once that's done, you can be added to the list. If you find that you're getting close to the deadline, it's really important for you to reach out to Rebecca and let her know where you are in the process. So if you have any questions, we can answer them about the award as well. So this is our final slide, that if you have questions, we're happy to answer them here. And you can always reach us at careerdevelopment@massart.edu. And also our webpage is where that document was, which is where we started our presentation. And let you know that, registration is open now for the fair. So how about if we stop sharing the screen, and we are happy to answer any questions. I'm just checking the chat. And feel free to unmute yourself or throw it in the chat. If there are, I think Angela's question has already been answered, that if there are employers on the list, but you don't see them yet showing up on the for group, I assume group information sessions. Is it just a matter of kind of wait and see? And that's why we want people to go in and check and make sure that when they do post, that you can sign up for a group session or one-to-one if they're offering that. Are there any other questions? No? I know it's a lot of information.
Actually, I have a question.
Sure.
The student employment showcase,
Yes.
is that like still going to happen this year, or did that already pass?
That is always offered in August. It's usually like
Okay.
early mid-August, and it's the start of the academic year. And that's
I
when
see.
we invite hiring managers from around the college to come and talk to students about the jobs that they're offering.
Oh man, that's awesome. Okay. Man, I wish I knew that last semester. I would have totally attended that. I had no
Oh.
idea.
So I'm going to say that you should definitely, if you see career development or Handshake popping up in your email, definitely click into it, because we do, even during the summer, and I know a lot of people aren't checking their MassArt email, but that's an important time. So I would say if you want to come for 2024, start checking your email. I would say like mid-July, end of July, and you'll see the announcements for the Student Employment Showcase.
I think there's a question for Rebecca here. So there was a question about, they noticed a lot of possible internships will be hosted in different states. These opportunities typically offer relocation assistance.
It's going to depend on the employer. So some employers may have either intern housing, they may refer you to some possible housing, or some it might be you need to look for housing in that area. So it is going to vary, and there's no kind of universal answer for.
Just checking the chat. I'm not seeing any other questions pop up.
Just to follow on the out-of-state internships, you also, when you read internship descriptions, it'll often kind of either specify some possibilities. Some employers are offering remote or hybrid. So also you want to watch for that, because it's kind of a new landscape with that. So whenever you're applying for internships, make sure to read the description like in its entirety and think about whether it's on site. Is it hybrid? Will you have to be there like 1 day out of 5 days a week? Are they offering anything in their description? Some companies will mention benefits like relocation or housing in their description, so look for that, but it's not necessarily a guarantee, which is why you want to read the description pretty thoroughly.
I would say my advice to you is do not count yourself out for an out-of-state internship if you're like, oh, I don't know if I could ever find housing in California or in New York City. I would say apply for the internship and see how far you get in the process. And if you're made an offer, then you can, obviously that's going to be a consideration for you, but it is not unusual for colleges and universities in the area to have summer internship housing available on their campus. So that is another thing to keep in mind. But I do find that sometimes students already, kind of cut themselves off from opportunities because they already imagine themselves in the internship. And you want to kind of get to that point where you're actually getting close to an offer before you start, making decisions or thinking about something that's further down the road for you. Does that make sense? Okay, good, thanks. Okay, does everybody have a resume? Kind of, sort of, not sure. Yeah, I see a lot of this. Okay, well, don't forget about Resumes to Go, which is next week between 12 and 4. Just pop in and one of us will be available to kind of take a peek at it and give you some suggestions. As we said, you don't have to have a resume to attend the fair, but you definitely want to have one ready to apply for the opportunities. So